So, hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Are you ready for your long, dark winter? So hey guys, welcome to Appalachia's Homestead. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to so many of you new subscribers and new faces. My name is Patera and it is an honor to have you here in our community. So I'm gonna film this video out in nature to enjoy nature while we still can, right? So I've been saying for a couple of days at a minimum, boy, it sure does feel like fall is coming on awfully quick. We're seeing things that, well, we normally don't see till later in the month or maybe into September. Today is August the 16th. Remember your Elvis, baby. I know. So, I went ahead, though, and every year I do, can you see that in there? That is a persimmon seed, a preliminary seed reading, okay? Persimmon seed. Every year I have, for the last several years, I have been showing you a persimmon seed reading, which is an Appalachian folklore, as we call it, as kind of a prediction for winter, okay? And so what you're supposed to do is you are supposed to take persimmons, you're going to cut the seeds open, and you have 3 different potential forecasts to tell you what your winter more in your regional area is going to look like, okay? It's a really fun thing to do. The thing is, here's what I want to tell you. I normally don't do my seed readings until really more into, much later in the month or into September. And the reason being is because I want the actual seed, like I guess you would call it the husk, the outside. This is drying up. So you can see right here, it's not really that dark. It's kind of a whitish green color. So you really want them to be hardening up and darkening up, kind of like a little walnut. They look like little nuts, like little almonds. They look like almonds is what they look like. So I've been waiting and waiting, and I'm noticing that my persimmons are starting to turn a little bit early. They're getting some color on them. So I took a couple in the house, and I decided to go ahead and play. So I will do another seed reading coming up here in a couple of weeks. So what I'm saying today, we will do our best to confirm it, okay? But I think it's important to share this with you now because you need to be prepared. A dark winter is coming. I mean that literally, figuratively, metaphorically. It's an whatever which way you want, however you want to take that, baby doll, okay? Because we are continuing to see issues with lots of different things. I myself am having to drive literally across town tonight after I make this video and get everything squared away to just get a shower liner. So I have one to replace the one we had to tear out of our house today. It was leaking, causing problems. We got to fix that. And the guys that are working on our house that help us out from time to time, those supply chain issues are just a little booger. So I have to fight to replace my shower. My point here is you're going to have the same issue with items that you need for winter. Why would you not? Now let me go over this with you real quick for those of you that are not familiar with what a persimmon seed reading is. So I have several persimmon seed trees on my property. Okay, we get persimmons. They're wonderful, make beautiful jellies and jams, pies, whatever. That's later in the fall once we actually have our first frost. But we like to read the seeds. You have 3 different choices. I have all kinds of videos on this. When you crack open the seed, you're going to see that little white thing right there, and they take on 3 potential different shapes: a fork, a spoon, or a knife. A spoon, which we have right here, which, by the way, I actually want to tell you, I cracked 3 seeds. The first 2, I kept going because, let me tell you this, the first 2, the seed was still a little bit mushy, which is why we wait. Like I told you, I like to wait until the seed gets harder and darker, the outside, like an almond. And it's tricky to smash them when they're a little bit tender. So I did 2 just playing, and I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, these are kind of messed up, but boy, that sure does look like a spoon. And the second one, I went, if I had to guess, that looks like a spoon. So the third one here today, it did a whole lot better, and it is most definitely a spoon. So we're going to do it again, like I said, but the other potentials that you may have is also a fork. Now, a spoon signifies a cold, very harsh winter, snow potential, deep snow, and you have to shovel it out, of course, with the spoon. That's what that signifies. And then a fork, of course, is supposed to be more of a mild winter. And then if you get a knife, you are going to have a lot of high winds. The wind cuts you like a knife. So that is the folklore of the Persimmon Seed forecast reading. A lot of people enjoy doing that, especially in my area. So I think it's important that I go ahead and tell you this preliminary reading, because it may be another 2 to 3 to 4 weeks before we get another. And at this point in the game, every single day counts in terms of your preparedness. How are you doing in terms of propane? How are you doing in terms of your wood supply? How are you doing in terms of your pantry? How are you doing in terms of cold medicine? How are you doing in terms of elderberry syrup? How are you doing in terms of coats and jackets and scarves and socks and mittens? How are you doing in terms of animal feed, or things that you use for your animals in the winter? It's very hard to prepare a farm once the weather turns. This is why you see a lot of farmers and a lot of homesteaders talking about fall and winter prep right now. July, August into September, we really put the hammer down, because we know, especially here, we tend to get a lot of rain in the fall. It can be a really wet turn of events for us. And then, of course, it turns cold. And so, therefore, it becomes very difficult to clean the extra buckets and to clean the extra troughs and to do all of these things. Now, the Farmer's Almanac came out, and we have already also been predicted for a harsh winter. Then another article came out from the Almanac, and from what I understand, they are saying that things are going to turn early. That from what I remember, it was stating that basically November, we could really start seeing some ugly potential in November. Hey, I can tell you right now, living here in Southeast Tennessee, there's been times that we've had, it can be beautiful here on Thanksgiving, the end of Thanksgiving time or November. I mean, it can be 55, 60 degrees. That's not what they're predicting. Only time will tell. We certainly don't know. The persimmon has been awfully good at reading the weather situation over the past couple of years, though, especially around here. So remember, when you do this, you want something that is growing in your area, on your property, within a couple of miles from your home. You don't want to go to the grocery store and get it, because, my gosh, if it comes from Mexico, it's not going to be accurate. So do know that. But I want to go ahead and tell you this and get this out there, because several weeks could be a big difference in terms of how you are preparing your home, your family. Go through your pantry. Do you have the things that you need to back your home up in case you don't have power? So see, we're not just talking about world crisis. We are not talking about economic collapse. We're not talking about any of these things. We're talking about just winter alone, because you and I both know that a horrible snowstorm, or in our area especially, Ice storms can be crippling, they can be deadly. So having these crucial items lined up, ready to go, which is something you should do every year, but we like to have a swift kick in the butt. The shovel is popping you in the booty right now saying, hello, are you paying attention? It's August, it's still warm. Are you prepared? So I'll let you know how the next seed reading goes. It's going to be probably a couple of weeks, but I got a little anxious with the ones that were starting to turn, and I just wanted to see what we thought. So it is looking like spoons again. So we appreciate you being here. Be sure to share the video, get the word out, like, subscribe, and share, and we thank you so much for being here, so much for your support. Another reason you better be busy, because you know why? You've already been told. Winter is coming. We'll see you on the next